everyone. Hi, Steph.
Hello.
Here we are. It's Thursday and a little bit different this evening because Debbie is taking a bit of a family break and so Steph is with us. Hi, Steph.
Hello.
How are you? You're all right?
Yeah, I'm okay.
Good.
I'm pleased I'm on the side of Debbie because it throws me looking at the other way.
I know, you said to me you had to come in second so that you're on that side of the screen.
Don't want to confuse people too much.
Oh. So we've got a few people joining us, I can see, and we're going to get going in just a minute. I was just saying to Steph, I'm working with these papers, and if you know my style and actually Steph's style, we're more of a bright kind of, we're in the bright gang, aren't we? This is a bit pastely, but we're going to go with it. This is Pink Fresh Studio Happy Heart. I've seen people do some nice things with these. So we're going to see how it's going. So I can see a few people joining us. Oh, hi, Michelle, Julie, Karen's just joining us. Right, so, and I'm going to be using this. So what are you working with, Steph? That looks like
I've got colour study because I've still got loads of it to use, and I've got my rainbow shelf that I have upstairs now. So I've got a scrapbook.
Ooh.
I wish I'd done it sooner. Kallax is the future. So
yes,
I've got scraps and this cut file, which is, I don't know which one it is, but I used it for my lateral flow test because I did 100 lateral flow tests and the last one was positive. So that's what the page I used on, and this is the bit left over from it.
Oh, wow. So did you scrapbook every tiny little photo in those little squares?
No,
that would have taken you forever.
No, I inked them all green, apart from the last one I inked red.
Oh, I like it. Okay, yeah. Which was the positive?
I do like the mini picture idea, but even I'm not that crazy.
No.
I thought it looked like the shelving. That was my idea. I thought it looked like the squares of the shelf. That's my vision.
Love it. That's the grid cut file. I think I used that on a 12 by 12 photograph.
Oh, and yes, you did.
I put it through the machine and I was brave enough and I cut it out from
there. I remember you doing that.
Oh, hi Joe, hi Helen and Julie and Michelle. It's good to see you all with us.
Oh, she said she was going to join Michelle, so she did.
Oh, that's amazing.
Right, I was thinking this background, I think.
Oh, that works.
It's this one or this one. You see, my choice is this or this because I'm thinking this looks a bit like the colours of the shelf, but I think I need the black to pop.
Oh, what do people think? I kind of like the rainbow fan chip, but I do love that. It goes with your albums.
Yeah, that's the dilemma. But I'm going to stick all this somehow behind it.
Well, I'm going to get going on some inking because this is going to hopefully turn into a bit of a kit. And I'm thinking I might do a bit of a bokeh background. So some of you might have seen a photograph of my little one helping me. He's getting very much into his craft. So we were using some oxide, so Stormy Sky. No, inks, not even oxides. I normally use oxides, but I went for inks this time. So Worn Lipstick and Stormy Sky. And then using the Bubbles stencil. We've got this as A4 on the website, but because it's a kit, we'll do A5 in the kit. And I'm going to just have a go at some bokeh. So people think second page, the rainbow.
I think I'll do my layers and then make a decision at the end. I can do all the layering and then decide.
That's a good point. So not
the
stick
problem
it down.
is this paper is that really nice on the back. It's that nice rainbowy script. So yeah, we shall see. We'll do this bit and then we'll stick it on at the end, I think.
I'm turning that very bright light out because I think it's just creating too much of a glare on the paper. I think it's easier to see like that. It's almost too blinding. Yeah, Julie, both work. They both do. They both do look good.
It's kind of colour study. You can't really go wrong with it, can you?
I know. I love it. I've still got some. We were crafting with it at the retreat at the weekend and saying how we still loved it.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see what a new collection is like, what sort of way it goes.
Yeah, when's it out?
I don't know, because I'm trying to be good, so I'm not actually looking.
You're not looking. I love it.
I'm proud that
Emily.
I've not bought any pattern paper yet this month.
That
I'm
is
so proud.
very-
The only thing I've bought this month is a bit of storage for my ink pads. I got this. I'll show you this bag for my
Ooh,
distress.
dress. That Totally Tiffany.
Yeah, and
I
that's all the
recognise-
ones I own of my oxide, so they fit nicely.
Love that.
I bought a balloon dog die because I'm going to see some balloon dogs on a trail later. I bought a balloon dog die and some white card, but I don't class card and tapers.
That's like your staples.
Yeah. So I'm determined to hold out and not buy any paper for at least this month.
I love it. The Julie, you're tuned in. You recommended these stickers from
Oh yes,
another
she
local
did.
company, and I got these, and they were like 99p a sheet. But I just love a coloured label. I haven't even got my old labels, but I've got a set for me inks and a set for me. I can see you've labelled you've got yours.
Mine, yeah. I saved 99p. I was proud of myself.
Yeah, all towards more stash.
Yeah.
So that's okay. I love a storage system and I love organisation and labelling. It's like lush.
It's a separate hobby in its own right.
Yeah. You could spend a whole week just organising stuff. I know, Julie, you had a sort out. Like you could spend all week in your craft space sorting.
Well, I'll often go and get like a piece of ribbon, and I'll get the ribbon, then I'll decide to reorganise all my ribbon. And I didn't intend to do that, but I just end up doing it and then get back to what I was supposed to be doing.
Yeah. I could spend all day sorting scraps, that kind of thing. I've got to have something on the paper because the camera goes in and out of focus on white paper, I've discovered. It's the white background it doesn't like. So you can see it's going in and out of focus. So I'm going to do this quickly because nobody needs that. Oh, hi, Susan. Hi, Nicola.
Right, we need to chop that a bit.
So this is a technique that if anybody watches Vicky Booting's Friday Night Live, she's done quite a while back now, but a bokeh technique. So, you know, like when you photograph things and you get the light, like making that rainbow distorted pattern, it's like doubles and dots, but she created the dimension with these kind of stencils that you apply the ink, but then you kind of rub off the middle with a baby wipe. And obviously as it overlaps, you could build up a whole layer of bubbles. Or
it's something I want to try, I just haven't got around to it yet.
Yeah. It is the type of thing you could spend ages doing because you could have a whole sheet of bokeh, but I just wanted to use a little bit in the background of this.
It'd be good for you if you've got a load of circle punches, you could make a load of templates to do, couldn't you?
Yeah, if you've got a whole range of punches. Yeah, absolutely. And actually you can punch into, you know, like folder dividers and that kind of thing, and just make up your own. It's great. Cheap and easy idea. You just go on and on adding. Oh, Julie, you're on a major sort out. You're doing early spring cleaning. You're on a mission. I normally, when the nights get a bit longer, start sorting. I have done a few bags to the charity shop.
I always sort at silly time, so I'll go and decide at 6 o'clock to sort, and then I'll put everything on my bed, and then realise that now I want to go to bed.
Yeah.
That's never a good plan.
No. But then it forces you to think, well, I've started now.
It, yeah.
Yeah. Got to get it done. Debbie did a nice bokeh layout with the bubbles cut file, because she just stuck with the blues, and then I'm going to add some pink, but she stuck with the blues and made a whole series of kind of bubbles.
Yeah, I remember that. She sort of did them so they were like pale in the middle, didn't she? So they kind of looked like real bubbles.
That's the trick. You kind of want to go back in, and oxides work quite well. I'm using distress inks, but you just lift off the middle and it creates a bit of depth. Where do I get one more? Yeah. Oh, well done, Julie. Do you know, I used to read years ago, I don't know if it's still about, but there's an American book called The Fly Lady. And it's like an old-fashioned Mrs. Hinch as it is now, but basically you do a 28 fling boogie. So you've got to go around the house and you have to find 28 things, and you have a box by the door which is for charity shop, and you have your black sack for any rubbish, but you have to go round and find 28 things to part with, and that sets you a goal, which I thought was quite good because it makes you...
Do you have a time limit on how long it has to take to find 28
exactly.
things?
And also, she says, like, if you put stuff in a box, put it in your car. Don't look at it, because I put it in my box and I go, oh, might need that. Or
see, the problem I have is I take it into school. I'm like, oh, but I'll take it to school, and then I'll go from school. I'm like, oh, I'll just take that back home with me.
Yeah. And then you don't quite part with it as you thought you might. Exactly.
So I've decided I'm going with this background because it brings out the black, and I'm having to doodle because I like a doodle.
I love it.
I've doodled all my squares because I thought no one needs me to see me to draw around 100 squares. So I've already drawn around those.
But I'm loving your doodling, because I need to get braver at that. You've said to me several times about doodling on cut files, and I tried it once. I was like,
yeah. You tried it live, so fair play.
Yeah, I did, and you persuaded me to do the Nouveau dots. Like, remember you said,
I did.
And I did it.
Maybe I should have kept my mouth shut because you could get your own back now.
Yeah, I have to set my challenge. The Nouveau drops were easier. I find doodling, because I think I'm wobbly and it doesn't quite go as I hoped.
But wobbly's okay. The idea is it's not supposed to look straight.
Right, embrace the wobble, basically.
Yeah, which is strange from somebody like me, because I do like it to be. But if you go off the page or off wherever, it doesn't really matter.
It does look good, and I love the doodling round every square. Was that a sitting in front of the TV kind of...
No, I just did it now before. It took me about, 10 minutes, because I did it. So when I did it, is I went top, 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 all the way along, and then I turned it and then did top, 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 top again, all the way across like this.
So you kept the angle.
Yeah.
So Joe's asked a good question. Why do you wipe over the top? It's hard to see on the camera, but you lift some of the ink off and it gives it almost like a 3D effect. So you can see like it's dark around the edge and then it's lighter in the middle, and it almost gives like a kind of 3D bubble by like lifting a bit off. It's bizarre. And you don't want your wet wipe too wet, but you just sort of lift some of it off, and I'll photograph it afterwards so that people can see how it builds up, and it's really nice. And I'm doing this because the background paper that I'm going to use, I've also fussy cut. So I fussy cut some of these out, and I'm going to raise them all up on foam. So that's the plan. So I wanted to go.
Did you do like some practice on the scrap paper before you actually did this reel? Have you had like a...
Yeah.
like to get a feel for it?
Yeah, because if your wet wipe is too wet, which seems a bit strange, but if it's super wet, it all bleeds underneath. But then kind of embrace the mess. It doesn't matter.
It becomes a splat.
It becomes a bit of a splat, but yeah, testing is a good idea first. And you just sort of lift off the middle and keep the darker edge. And you could literally go on and on and on, add into this. You could have some bits off the page.
I'll stick this down next.
So your background isn't stuck down yet. You've held off a little bit to see, because you're not sure what you're going to go with.
I got this ready a couple of days ago, so I thought I'll leave it to decide on the day.
Yeah. I like people commenting. You people who chat when I'm doing things, and you help me and say, right, what looks best, this one or this one? And then it's, you know, those kind of choose your own adventure books where you used to pick the page. It's like that, but for scrapping. Option A or option B. Right, the other idea I had, which I started to play around with on this other piece, is so the bokeh technique is kind of a Vicky Boughton idea, but then Kate Crane uses bottle tops and she stamps. So again, you can test it on a piece of paper to see if you're happy with it. But you literally just create. It's very subtle. I'm going to have to hold it up to the camera because
I saved a big bottle, a bottle lid the other day after you did it in black acrylic the other week. So I'm saving a collection of a few sizes.
It looks amazing in black acrylic.
Yeah.
And because this was such a pastel layer, I tried it in black. I was like, oh, that's a bit harsh for this. And then a larger one, maybe a bit of blue.
But you see, I could probably get away with it because I just have a black doodled line around my page because I can't not. So I could probably get away with the black.
Yeah, you could. We were joking how quickly Steph will finish because I thought I was a speedy scrapper, but Steph is super.
I think it's because I like to pre-plan.
Yeah, and me. I'm with you.
Well, I should have pre-planned today, so I'll tell you a funny story from today. So we have a mystery bag of the day's activity in. So we got the book out and I put the book in the bag, and it's a book about police officers. So we did the whole, what do you think this book might be about? What do you know about police officers? Yep. Coming to open the book, look at it, and it had no pages in it whatsoever. It was just literally a hard spine.
Oh,
so I was like, oh, the book is missing. Let's just see if there's another story to watch.
Oh, how funny. It was actually empty.
It was just a spine. So then I went to the office at the end of the day and they laughed and took pity and they've now ordered me a new copy of it.
A new one. Oh.
I took it out of the cupboard. Why would I check to see if it actually had pages inside of the book?
What do you think has happened to the pages?
I'm wondering if it's been out last time and then it's just been put away like that. But because it was a hard cover, you couldn't tell. Like if it had been a paperback, you'd feel that it was flimsy. But because it was a hardback, but the children was like, "There's no pages." I was like, "No, there isn't. Maybe we need the police to find the pages."
Oh, brilliant!
So, maybe I should have done a bit more planning this morning, and then that wouldn't have happened.
But there's those opportunities. Oh, let's think creatively. Oh, that is good. Right, so the other thing I've just done, which I've used before, the end of a pencil is amazing for your own little stamps. So I've just added a few little prints from the end of a pencil. So that's the background. Right, it's gonna be all about foam pads this time. So pads at the ready.
I've got a tray here. This is I got some Ferrero Rochers for Christmas, but they make really good trays for putting your ephemera in, like when you're sorting things out.
Oh, that's good. I have just put one of those in the recycling. I'm going to go and get it back out.
So obviously you get two, a top and a bottom, but I've just took it out my box and then gone through what I want to use, and then it started.
I have literally no word of a lie in the recycling yesterday. The recycling hasn't gone, so I'm going to have to dig it back out.
And obviously you can put your mucky stamps and stuff in it too, and then take them to wash in stencils because it's quite a decent size. So
yes, you could put a bit of warm water in it. And are there any holes in it? So you should be able to wash.
No. But I would just put them in, just like mucky, and then just take them so there's that way too. But no, I don't think there is any holes in it.
That is genius. I should be rescuing that from the recycling. Right, so there's me bubbles. That's the bits that I've fussy cut. I'm trying to keep a bit of a white.
Good.
these. So obviously I'm going to layer up my cut file.
I need to now try and not cover all my things up. It's my challenge now.
Yeah. So and I'm wondering if I don't know about the blacks. Definitely one to try. We shall see. Might do some black stitched lines because I kind of feel like these might need to pop a little bit.
Because if I remember, isn't there like a faint floral on it in like a grey or something?
Yes, a very soft grey. But I kind of feel like, oh, you know when you feel nervous about doing something, is it going to mess it up? What do people
do it on the back of one so you can see what it looks like?
Yeah. What do we?
I know it will be coloured, but then you can see what the style would look like.
See, that's another top tip. Do it on the back.
You should see the back of some of my cup files some days, and I've tried different pens out on them.
And then you flipped it over.
Yeah.
So I was thinking of a little hand stitching to make
it's not as harsh as a full black line. That it's more subtle, isn't it?
I'm not sure. I think because it's so pastel. What do we think? Oh, Kathy, thank you. What we think? It's because I don't work in pastels, so I feel like, oh, looks a bit. And the other thing I've done, so if I show people roughly what I'm thinking before I stick anything down, because you know me, I launch into sticking things down and then I regret it. So I was thinking foam pad all the circles, then lay the cut file. Then let me show you my picture. So I'm going to back the picture, but it's a picture of my little boy holding up. This was the earth.
Yeah.
Where it was. Then I'm thinking it's going to have these sort of flying over all around, and I have all these little butterflies. You see, I have inked. So I was either going to stick them in or have some of them flying off.
I don't think you'll need the doodling then. I think
it'll
be okay once it comes together.
Right, let's lay it all out, and if it looks rubbish,
I've got photos of the earth too. I went to see it at Hull missed it, but at a local one they had the moon, so we saw the moon first, and then we saw the earth.
Oh wow, we missed the moon.
But there's a Mars one as well, so you need to keep that. There's a Mars one traveling as well.
Oh wow. It was fabulous, I must admit. And you just kind of stretch up and look like you're holding it.
No,
hi Alison.
I did wear my globe dress though, my Popsy globes.
Oh, that's good. Right, so this is the kind of thing I was thinking. Hi Alison. Lots of people joining us.
Right, that camera I think's too big, so that's going.
I missed the moon. This was at Wells Cathedral, and it must have been the wettest evening, but it was worth the trip. I'm not feeling this. This is the kind of thing that is going to be a slow burner, this layout, and I'm going to have to faff with it. Maybe the photo might be wrong. I do have black and white photographs, so it might I could go black and white, and then I could add some black to sort of ground it. I think it's going to need some grounding, this layout. It's too pastel-y for me. I like working in the brights. Let's see. What I definitely had some black and white photos. Sometimes even just the change of photo can make the difference. Let's cut a black and white photo and see what we think. that either. Maybe the blue in the photograph does work.
I think it looks a bit blue and pinky, the photo.
Yeah, and the fact that the circle of the earth and you've got all of this. Yeah, let's stick with it. Does anybody else find that? Some layouts, it comes together and you're like, yes, this is working. Others, you're going, But like you say, just embrace it. As you said, Steph, it's just a bit of paper. It's only a bit of paper. You don't need to get too hung up on it. Right, Vicky Booton says, just make art. Just go with the flow. So is anybody else working on anything this week? Crafty makes. What have you got on the go? Yeah, I'm thinking the same, Julie. I'm thinking like matte the photo in a darker colour. I might do some black stitching. And sometimes I even make like another offset border for the cut file just to make it pop. It needs... Yeah. Oh, Jo, you haven't done any crafting since July. Definitely have to come to a crop. Get you back into it. Oh, Kelly's catching up on Project Life. I'm only up to Feb. Now, are we talking Feb last year? We're not talking... You're not ahead of yourself.
She didn't say it year, it could have been the year before.
Yeah, we don't know what year. Right, so all these fussy cut. Oh, Julie's got December daily on the go. Yeah, you've not got your scrapping mojo. Goes that way sometimes.
Oh, February 22.
Oh, right. Only a year. Only, yeah. I keep writing 2022. I still haven't got the hang of the new year yet.
Can't believe January's over.
I know, it's mad, isn't it? Right, so this kind of, I think this is going to take some playing around with. Not quite feeling it. So I'm definitely going to go black stitching to raise that up. I might even put some outlines on the bokeh bits. And then, as you said, Julie, a matte.
What's the colour on the butterfly that's dark?
On
the butterflies that you've got cut out, the tummies, are they like a dark grey or black?
It's kind of a light grey. Everything's a bit washy. Even the middle of the butterflies, they're grey. It's a beautiful paper if you are a pastely person. The other thing is we could not do the... Is it the bokeh technique that's making it too busy? Oh, dear, dear, dear. What do people think? Oh, you've got lots of photos to scrap, Jo. So, yeah, you'll have to get back into it, get into the swing of it. Michelle's been fussy cutting Easter cards. And then you're at a scrapbook class. Oh, on Saturday with Steph.
Yeah, she's my local friend.
Oh, fab. We had that whole weekend of crafting last weekend. It was absolutely heavenly. Really lovely. I'm trying to think on my feet now. whether I go plain white. Definitely going to try matting on a bit of black. Let's see what that looks like. So I've got some black here. See what adding a bit of definition to it does. Let's see. Oh, yours is coming along, Steph, beautifully.
Yes, I think I've finally finished with all my bits and pieces. I think I'm going to start sticking it down. I need to do some journaling, but I'll do that when I've decided what I'm going to put.
So are those like little bits of scraps you've built that border?
This, yeah.
Yeah. So that's a great tip for using up your scraps.
To be fair, I would have thrown them away, but because it was colour scuddy, I've kept everything, even the tiny bits.
So that's worth noting.
I've got some here, so like these.
Don't chuck those scraps away.
Look, these are quite small. There's some of my scraps that I've kept.
I'm going to try something completely different. Just thinking on my feet, because I'm not feeling that. It's the pastels. I definitely love the butterfly cut file. And some of these butterflies. Maybe it's less is more with this type of paper. Tell you what would look nice, like a folded doily or something like that would be good. Debbie! Debbie's on the chat.
Hi, Debbie.
She's on family duty. She's popping in. I'm making a right mess of it, Deb.
Maybe it's because we're not doing the same things. You can't like look at Debbie's for ideas because we're doing
Yeah.
totally different.
And I'm working with pastel papers, which is not my thing. So Nicola doesn't chuck her scraps until they're really thin. I mean, you can use them for like making cards as well. If I sometimes think, right, don't chuck it because it's too nice to waste.
Well, when mine are really small, I take them into school. So I got a big box of scraps from Libby, and they were not scraps by any means. But anyway, I started to do them all. And any bits I didn't like, I took to school. And my children were going, oh, we'll cut the pink flowers. And they've just literally had scissor practice. And then I've cut the other scraps up. I might have a bag. Let me see if I can find it. So
that's great. A friend of ours at the weekend crop said they'd take a massive bag into school.
Yeah, so this is one bag of scraps from Libby that I went through and sorted out. And then this is all bits that I fussy cut from Libby. And I've put into separate little bags. But I've spent about 3 weeks cutting through all bits and bobs.
And
oh, look, there's colour study there. But it was just great. I was like, Libby, anytime you are fed up of scraps, I will gladly have them. So I've had joy. The children have had joy.
Oh, yeah. A friend of mine said she went to a local primary school and said, look, would your reception children like these? You see, I think that cleaner, although I love the bokeh technique, so I'm going to use that possibly on another layout.
Yeah, that looks better.
It's just like it was too busy on the eye. It's knowing that less is more sometimes, and then you can just.
And I think that's showing more of the circles, which looks like the world.
Yeah. And then I can start to build it up. I feel happier with that. I did have a little Jennywren die cut word, which I quite like, which was story, because I can do a bit of journaling there. It's funny, some layouts, they just don't sort of come together as you like, and then you just work on them a bit, change it up. And what you could always do is ink the cut file itself. Or like you say, doodle the cut file.
I very rarely have a plain cut file. Even if I don't back it, I still doodle it because I can't do nothing.
And I would usually do an offset so that at least it
Yeah.
pops. That's not popping enough. So I'm going to have to do something with the cut file. But I think that is less busy.
I think
And
because obviously I am a pre-cut, I need doodling is my equivalent of that.
It's knowing when to say, actually, it's almost too busy.
More is not always more.
No.
I don't believe I've just said that.
I know. But when it came to too many circles, that's definitely. And I still think, because I've got the black lines on that, I am just going to be brave. Because like you say, it is only paper. Let's try with some stitching to tie in with the back so that it looks like those little circles. These are all stitched.
Let's be honest, you have a shop, so I'm sure you have another sheet if you need to go and get one.
If all else fails.
This video will disappear and no one will ever see it.
Exactly. Also, when you're sort of trying to think to design it as a kit, you're trying to think how it can be replicated. Oh, excuse me, I had a sneeze. And you don't have packets and packets and packets of stuff you can just add, and you're like, right, okay, I've got to think how I can be creative.
How it can be simple, but how you could add bits to it.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm just reading Julie's comment. I agree with you. Libby and Adam scraps are definitely on the same scale of scraps.
Oh, what when
they're not scraps.
Are you like, that's not a scrap? I do keep mine, unless they're tiny. I keep them, and I've got colour coordinated Avery L pockets, and they always come in handy. I go to that scraps box so often. Yes, the black lines, that is exactly what's required.
Yeah.
To be able to see.
I forgot that I was supposed to be watching, because normally when you're live on a Thursday, I'm busy and just listening to you. I forgot that I need to be.
Are you usually crafting too? You're doing some.
I usually do something. I'll look up every so often, and it's gone from like a bit of paper to a full blown page.
Yeah, not this week though. I'm faffing, which is very unusual. I've normally got an idea and I get on with it and it's finished. But some layouts don't quite look as you hope.
Maybe it was Debbie completing a page last week's messed all the mojo up.
Yeah. She did that Plum Grove. Oh, that was lovely. I love that. And yet, purple, that wouldn't be my thing at all. But I did love. I've still got loads of it to use. The rub-ons and the film strips.
I've been looking at rub-ons since last week. I haven't decided which set to get, but I've been considering getting a set after.
Oh, they are. We used some at Crop in the Country. So we had the. Was it like Holiday Wishes, the 49er Market Holiday Wishes rub-ons that were in the kit? A whole 12 by 12 page. So amazing. They are not like the rub-ons of the past.
Yeah, I think that's what's been putting me off for long enough that I had those. So I never got around to getting them.
I could never make them transfer in one piece. It would always be half transferred, but not anymore. Really recommend them. And the packs that are about $11.99, they've got 6 different sheets, so they last. 12 for 12 ones you can still cut up, and I think they're $6.99 a sheet, and you can cut those up and use them over several layouts, so they do go a long way. But the technology of rub-ons has obviously come on since we were last using them. yeah, this pastel layout definitely needed some dark colours to ground it. Oh, hi Gwen. Yeah, don't worry, I've been faffing. I've not. I started a layout, took it all apart, and I wasn't feeling it. Steph's motoring on. She's motoring. And the thing is, the time does go so quickly.
It does, yeah.
I think we've got plenty of time, and it goes. Oh, Gwen, you keep your scraps. Sometimes I sit and die cut or punch scraps and then keep them in a little bag so that if I go to crops, I haven't got to take loads of dies or punches, and then I've got a sort of my own homemade ephemera, which is often quite a good idea. I would love to be able to hand stitch some of this, but no, it's not for me.
Oh, I wouldn't hand stitch that small. I have hand stitched on a
No.
page before, but not that small.
Hand stitch like a circle would be nice.
Well, hopefully we'll be able to do that soon. Well, you can. I hope to.
Oh yes, I do have my Bramble Fox circles.
I'm not jealous. I'm not jealous at all. I've been stalking the website. I'm not going to lie.
Is it not up there yet?
Not yet. No.
It's not, oh, they are fabulous. So there is a lovely circle, sort of almost like a mesh. It's almost like plastic Aida, perfect circle, so that you can make holes and then stitch your circles. That is lovely. And I've got lots of circle templates. Right, so the black is definitely, I'm going to hold that up here.
So I just looked at the comments. Michelle is definitely a binner, and I have been known to fish things out the bin at crops with her and salvage them.
No.
Yeah, if she gets fed up with things, she just throws them in the bin and I get them out and then fix them and give them back.
Yeah, like, what are you doing chucking that away? Get that back out the bin.
And thank you, Gwen, for that comment. Right, I think I'm done. I need to journal on here when I've decided what I want to say. But I think I'm done with this one. I'll put the date on there when I've checked.
Love. And so are you going with that background? Because that looks...
Yeah, it's stuck down.
Yes. She's stuck down on it.
Stuck down. So I've got another page I can do. So this is the end result. I've got the sorting of the room. So I've got that as the next one to do.
Love it. Well, I'm going to commit to these dots now. Now, the bokeh technique is going to be for another layout because that is not needed. So I am going to stick these on foam because otherwise I'm just faffing. That can go. Stick these down. Give me a little hexagon foam. I'm not messing about now.
Oh, I was going to put a title up here, but I don't think it needs it. I think I might leave it.
Yeah, because I think you've got your little plastic perspective ones.
Yeah, I was going to put calyx shells or something, but I don't think it needs it. I can put it on the other one, so that's fine.
Yeah, it's looking good. I seem to be using a lot of foam dots lately. There's people like using foam dots. I never used to.
Right, let's move the chair out of the way and sort this out.
But I'm really into dimension now. Get through a lot of foam dots.
Right. After this is a double page.
Out the bin. Oh, thank you, Gwen. Well, I picked that photo because of the kind of globe, earth, and but it's just the pastel colours I haven't been so sure about. But I think the black is grounding it, and that photo will probably go well.
Right, let's get it's not as polished, this one.
Right, is this one not as sort of planned?
No, look, I've not even trimmed my photos.
Okay, that's good. That's sort of on your feet.
this was the. I'll show you. Let me find. So this was the mess before everything was piled up and the bed was in a different position. So we moved the bed under the shelving, put the shelving in.
Oh yes, this is when you kallax.
Yeah. So this is like the after. This is the before, and then the shelving. So it's like a double page.
I love it. Great to look back over the years.
I sit in the room so much more. I'll go sit and do my photo planning and things like that. So it's been because you can actually get into the room.
It's all there and accessible. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, so I'm mounting my photo. I'm committing to the black border. That was Julie's idea. Loving that. No, Kelly, I've not got mixed media in here yet. I did mix media my little butterflies with, and then I did a bleaching technique to lift some of it off. So store there.
There was mixed media at the beginning on the other layout, so you have done some mixed
it was
media.
all here, and then it just. And I do love that, but I think that is a background in its.
Yeah, because you were screwing most of that up.
Yeah. Or I would cut this down and I'd use it as card background. I know, I wasn't feeling it. You need to just, if you're not feeling it, you've got to just change it up. It was too much. All the best laid plans.
So this room is also my Hungry Caterpillar room. So this is all my little Hungry Caterpillar things that I've collected over the years on the shelf.
Oh, I love that. We love the Hungry Caterpillar in our house. I've got some great photos for World Book Day of my little one dressed up as the Hungry Caterpillar. And obviously the author has the same name.
Yes, I clocked that when...
Yes. And he says, that's my name. Well, that's not your... It's a different person. You haven't You haven't quite got the concept that is not actually you. It's not you written a book.
Going to school, what's your name? Eric Cal.
Yes, exactly. And they go, oh, yes, that sounds familiar. That's an author. Now, I've got a few twiddles. I've got a couple of little twiddles here. So, and they're quite nice pastel. I might tuck those behind. I think
look good.
Cleaner background is the way forward. But I am going to do something with this cut bar. So I'm not going to stick that down just yet. Sometimes you just have to come back to it.
And this is the bed that's got my 4-foot Hungry Caterpillar on that I got for my birthday one year.
It's
an adult birthday as well. It's hard to say how big it actually is in that photo.
Oh my gosh, love it. Love that. And your carrots.
Oh yeah, Kevin. He's made home up there too.
Kevin the carrot. Oh, Nicola, you get through the foam strips. Yeah, I've gone for these little hexagons that I'm using at the minute because they come off really quickly. Yeah, I think I might do something with this cut file with a very pastel ink, you see, because I think worn lipstick was probably a bit bright, but I do have spun sugar. And I'm wondering if that is more of a match to... And just to check, I've got a little cut file here. I'm going to ink in spun sugar to see if it's light enough. You can see I'm not going to get this one finished tonight, Steph.
It's really bugging you though, isn't it? I can tell.
I know. I know, and I'll have to be working on it at the weekend because I get twitchy if things aren't finished. Let me just grab
I can hear it in your voice.
Yeah, stressing me out. Yeah, I'm thinking that label does look like a good match. It's not quite as bright a pink, so let's try and test. Do a comparison. I think it's going to be very subtle. But that might be just enough. And even it's so subtle, I don't even know if the camera will pick it up. It's a really soft pink. Just to see. Just shows when you work out your comfort zone, it takes longer because you're just not as confident or comfortable with a certain colour palette. That's looking good, Steph. That's a whole page of untouched colour study. Is that on the background?
Yeah, I got lots of this sheet. I got a few because I like the stripe. Did a Christmas one as well in not last year, the year before, and I got a few of those.
Oh yes, I did a scrapbook layout on that. I think it's in our Christmas kit. That is super subtle. Look, even the camera doesn't pick it up. It's so delicate, but that might work. Let's just do a colour match and see what it looks like. Oh yes, that shows up there.
Oh yes.
You can get the pink now, which makes me more confident to have a go with ink in the cut file. And like I say, I can always cut another one.
Yeah, see, I don't have that luxury, so I just have to fix it.
Yes. So like if you've committed to something, you're like, oh, you got to go with it. Yeah. Yeah, quite like the delicate pink. So I think I am going to ink the cut file because that would make that pop. And then, sorry, this layout has been like a slow burner, but hopefully it'll be worth it. Let's ink this cut file. It needed to pop. It's very delicate. It'll be worth it. Yeah, Nicola, I think that was a good match. Sponge Sugar is a much more pastel, very subtle. Again, not an ink I use very much, but perfect. So this one's going to need a little bit of tweaking before I take a photograph. Take a little while. I don't usually ink directly onto a cut file. I've seen others do it. One of our design team, I can't remember who it was. It might have been Kelly Matthews, possibly, inked it black and it just looked fab because I think she didn't have a cutting machine. So the cut files come white and she just changed it up and used black ink or black acrylic paint to turn it black, and it really popped. That's definitely a good idea. I don't think it needs much ink. I'm putting a very, very light covering on it just so that it stands out, but it is really subtle. It's probably enough. Let's turn this round. Oh, hi Trish. That's okay. You can definitely go and watch back. We were having a go with some mixed media and a circle stencil to make a kind of bokeh technique. Oh, Kelly, you've inked a few times. Oh, Kelly, did you get a machine for Christmas? I think I remember you telling me you did. Maybe getting the hang of it. Right, so that is inked. Oh, yes. Now, when you put that on the white, there, soft.
Yeah, that's the colour you needed.
That was just, otherwise it looked like it didn't match. Very soft. Almost looks like lace now. Had to persevere and stick with it because it was driving me mad. So yeah, a couple of these, a few more foam pads. Yeah, I definitely, Nicola, had to like dab the pad. I couldn't sort of go in circular motions. It was going to get in a bit of a mess. Right, tiny little bit of Nuvo. I'm not going to go mad on glue. It can just rest on. 3 minutes to go. I'm not going to get it finished. You can tell, stressing me out. I'll get there. Don't you worry. If I don't,
I'll not get asked back again. You'll be like, no, I don't bring back Debbie.
You just need to say, Faye, do not scrap in pastel colours. That's the issue. That's the blocker, is the pastels. Working completely out of my comfort zone with pastels. Oh, Trish, that's really good news. We were talking about photo resizing, weren't we? And showing you some apps and things that we could use. So you've had a go. Oh, lots of them ready to do your pages. Oh, that's great. No, the lovely thing about our Twilight community is you have a question or something you're trying to work out, you can ask and people will chip in and give you some advice. Get some of these little butterflies stuck down there. Pink one there. These could just go all over the place. I've cut out loads of these little butterflies. There. Right, I'm definitely going to have to finish this at the weekend because that's going to need more faffing, but you get the idea.
It's come on really well, actually.
It's sort of better than it was, but I've got all of these. So Trish, the bit that we did at the beginning, so let me tip off all these butterflies. So I had a go with one of our bubble stencils and just did, in fact, I've got to hold an ink brush there, otherwise my camera goes in and out of focus. It doesn't seem to like, it doesn't like white paper, but with this sort of bokeh technique, a bubbly technique. So that is at the start of the, but then I decided I didn't want to use it. It didn't work, did it? Wasn't quite working. So that is us. So huge thanks for joining us, everyone. It's been lovely to have so many of you with us, and thank you to Steph for keeping me company. And you're back again next week. So thanks for joining in the chat, everyone, and we'll be back next Thursday at 8 o'clock. Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.